DFCRadio.com.
This is fantastic.
Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high. Feeling so high. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Roll up that hydro make me feel fine. Cook up that hydro make me feel high.
Welcome DFZ Radio Land. I am the hydroponic chef, and I will be taking your order. I am the waiter. I am the chef. I am your chef's favorite hydroponic chef. Thank you for listening. DFZRadio.com. And phone lines are open, 562-653-0707. This is Farm to Table Cannabis. We're the only show offering cooking and cannabis reviews. We've got edible reviews, cooking with cannabis recipes, and gardening tips from your top cannabis industry gardening professionals. So sit back. We got about an hour of the show. We got a cooking demo. We've got some great guests lined up in the studio tonight. We've got Rudy with Catered Cannabis Events, and we've also got Cievoo olive oil in the building too. So go ahead and say hi, Rudy. You're good. You're on the mic now. Mic's hot.
Actually, Hydro Chef, that's
cannabis catered events. Catered cannabis event. It's nothing new to get corrected on the show. I may be the hostess, but I'm not the mostest, man. All right. So it's crazy. Went to bed the other night. Woke up a Lakers fan. What a fucking trip. It's a weird world. So we're in LA Bron world right now. The whole world's going crazy down here. And not only is that what's going crazy in SoCal and California, but the cannabis regulations kicked in July 1st. So it's kicked off, man. They're calling it the weed apocalypse. I've been calling it the hydropocalypse for a minute now. One industry affects the other, and we're here to help you navigate through that. So we always like to start off every show with some news, keep you up on current events. And I'm going to read you a article from Wired. This is written by Matt Simon from July 2nd. And they're talking about why California and how California is destroying mountains of weed for the July 1st recreational regulations. So you can call it the California marijuana apocalypse. As of 2018, July 1st, the recreational cannabis has it's been on sale since January, and it's a black market that still runs underneath it all. And ever since the cultivators and distributors are going legit, they're bringing themselves up for rigorous testing and packaging standards that mandated by the state. This weekend was a weekend of reckoning. For the first 6 months of the year, the state has allowed dispensaries to sell product that isn't yet up to the new code, so manufacturers can adjust to the changes. Any of these non-compliant concentrates or edibles or simple flowers left alone on store shelves as of July 1st have to be destroyed. By one estimate, that could total up to 350 million lost product.
Damn.
So how exactly do you obliterate potentially tens of thousands of pounds of cannabis? You give it to the sound man Saint and you let him burn that shit.
Just light a pile on fire.
He loves Avid. No.
And throw a party.
So not unlikely how you get rid of trimming, right? So their responsibility of destroying non-compliant cannabis products rests on the dispensaries, not the state. The government won't be dispatching special trucks to pick up cannabis, so dispensaries like some of these ones up in San Francisco and Los Angeles and Northern California, they are non-compliant. They got to be compliant immediately if they don't pull that off. So they got to take it off. So it means an interesting trash day. Non-compliant flowers and pre-rolls will be composted, and that's anything that's rendered unusable by putting it into a filthy locked bin, so the public doesn't have access to this dirty medicine. Oils for vape pens go through a lot rigorous extra step. Non-compliant cartridges will be rendered unusable with a hammer. That's what they state.
Shit.
The headaches are making their way upstream as well. The legal recreational cannabis supply chain, which packages and distributes product, is just coming into being. Flow Canna, for instance, is a cannabis brand that takes in marijuana from Northern California farmers, processes it, and tests it in accordance with the new laws. Flow Canna workers saw the deadline coming and prepared as best they could. They say, we have product that has not made its way through our processing system and that is still okay, says Kate Powers of the Flow Canna. It'll run the safety gauntlet on its way to market, so the majority of our inventory is fine. It's only the stuff that was packaged and processed under the previous standard that is possibly at risk. Dispensaries statewide rushed to offload product with massive sales and fire sales in the weeks leading up to July 1st, but but you can only offload so much weed. Sacramento is seeing possibly up to 8,000 pounds of product that will need to be destroyed, says Josh Drayton, spokesperson for the California Cannabis Industry Association. In the Los Angeles area, which houses the largest marijuana consumer base in the world, the number could run into the tens of thousands of pounds. Really, it's hard to tell for sure just how much cannabis is going to waste. Not all dispensaries have finished the licensing process. It's not the dispensaries they think they can't hide on the grid. The transition to legal recreational cannabis is still unfolding. Accordingly, data is hard to come by. That'll change as the supply chain matures and marijuana is more strictly tracked from seed to sale. And the waste, which wasn't for lack of trying on the cannabis industry's part, they've been having to multitask on many different levels, says Drayton, to build out businesses' plans to municipalities that are allowing cannabis activities. They've needed to learn new compliances with staffing and payroll. In the end, California wanted legal weed, which is why they voted for Prop 64. What they may not have realized is that the transition from illicit to legal comes with challenges that include the California marijuana apocalypse of 2018 in condition with the hydropocalypse of 2018. So we have to remember that, all right? So, yep, it's going to be a rough one out there while they go through the growing pains, and ultimately Prop 64 was passed through wanting to prioritize public safety and public health. That alternatively is legal, dirty cannabis that threatens not just people but wildlife too. California will get through this. Dispensaries' inventories might be low in low coming weeks, and newly compliant products make their way out on the shelves, but the market will even out, and the industry is about to adjust to the change. So they say it's going to level out. You guys feel optimistic about that? I'm feeling good about that, coming from the hydro industry side of things.
I don't believe shit in the news.
And the cannabis, you can get your news straight at the cannabis show, at the Farm to Table Cannabis show. But every once in a while, there's some fake news out there, and we're here to help you every week.
It's just the way they twist it,
decipher through it.
It's bullshit. I mean, it has some, obviously, because of the way the laws are. But I mean, it's really just.
Here we go, July 1st. It's happening. The hydropocalypse and the weed apocalypse is upon us. So, yeah, we got a good show for you today. We're going to help, talk to you guys about this upcoming legislation and all these new recreational rules. And we're also going to give you some tips and some edible reviews. And we've also got some prizes to give away. So today, I'm happy to announce we've got a magical butter machine we're going to be giving away later in the end of the show. You got to stick through till the end of the show. You can call 562-653-0707. We're going to answer a grand prize question, and you're going to get hooked up with a magical butter machine. So stay close attention to what we're doing in here today, all right? So we also got Cievoo olive oil coming in after the commercial break, and then we're going to talk to Rudy from Cannabis, Culinary Cannabis. I mean, I did it
Cannabis
too.
Catered
Cannabis Catered events. Oh gosh, it's not the first time I got too high on the show, and it won't be the last. So stay tuned. DFZ Radio 562-653-0707. We're on with the debauchery.
Yeah.
Rise out of bed, roll it up with the blend. They say old habits die hard in the end, so it no matter how hard I pretend.
Long City.
It's Calibots and the movement, yeah. Bobby hustle, no. Such a clean habit, yeah. Whoa. You know I got a habit, it ain't gonna lead nowhere. Except the many leeches and the people with the problem, but nobody cares. Cause all I do is sit and dream about drinking and women them you say. It's just gonna another reason I use and abuse it. But still I gotta live and gotta learn. All I wanna do is burn down, and so I light it up. I live and gotta learn. All I wanna do is burn, and so I light it up. I live and gotta learn. All I wanna do is burn down, and so I light it up. I live and I learn. All I wanna do is burn. Search for the high grade in a mistache. And watch the girl them wind up like me they a calabash. Boy, feeling so good, couple grams in a me pocket. If you not smoke, that's okay, but don't you knock it. God bless the nation. Yet enough people have a high grade occupation. Yeah, me say so anytime you see me, when you see me eyes red up, yeah. It's a habit, not go let up, yeah. Cause all me really need is a little bit of weed and a woman by my side and a reggae beat, yeah. And I bet you never know until you do it now. Moment come in, tell them how the habits feed, no. I live and I learn, all I and it needs addressing. You know I wanna hold it, break it up and roll it, twist it up and fold it, any kind of way. I'm an addict like the ceiling, in need of that healing. If I can't have it, I'ma feel some type of way. So when we start smoke, we not stop smoke. I'm from the West Coast, riding with the best smoke. You know, say it's the movement.
DFCRadio.com.
Launch crew, ready to reservoir.
What's the load factor, sir?
Bring in the Riser Blast liquid at 2 mils per gallon.
Okay, sir. We are loaded and ready to launch.
10, 9.
Okay, men. It's time to blast off into the plant's root zone and into another galaxy of root growth.
Rhizoblast is a proprietary blend of seaweed and the single-celled algae chlorella. Chlorella's abundance of amino acids and minerals contribute to its value in hydroponics. The benefits used in Rhizoblast are explosive root growth, the use with any growing medium or hydro system, its ideal use for transplanting, and the enhancement of your plant vigor and fast-flowering plants. Let your plants have a blast and see a world of a difference with Rhizoblast from Botanicare. Check it out at www.botanicare.com.
DFCRadio.com.
Yo, it's BKJ on Team King, and you listening to DFZ Radio. What?
Ay, I want a lot of things in this life. I want some things money can't buy. Like a girl who gon' keep it solid. Yeah. Like a girl who gon' need me one who gon' hold it down when I'm in a drought. Need me one who gon' get this cash when I'm running out. I need me one who gon' love this life I'm living with no problem. Hoes talking down, been my baby. Gotta buy. Need me one, need me one, need me one. I need me one, need me one, need me one. I need me one, need me one who gon' hold it down, who gon' keep it real, who gon' roll my blunts when this shit get real. Yeah, 2-5 can't think I'm gone off loud. Top shelf moon rock, she keep loud. Snapchat booming, got these hating hoes trolling. Out in public, she wrap around my ridges like a rolling. Rolling and dough, that's what she do on the low. That's what she do when she high. When I need it, she provide. When I'm sober, she supply. Half an ounce to get me by. Double that up and now I'm making money on the side. Break her out before I slide like. Put that up on my dead homie. She ride for me more than the homies. Know I got dreams, I'm living in cars, but she don't look at me like I am homeless. She look at me like I'm a star. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly what I am.
On the Table Cannabis, we're
killed
back.
that right
Welcome, man. You like my stutter rap? Yeah, I made that shit for you.
That was skills.
Yeah, that was good. So we're back in the studio.
Shout out to Dooney.
We got Rudy from Cannabis Catered Events, and we've also got Trey from, or should I call you Trevor? Trey. Trey is it? Trey it is. From Cievoo Olive Oil, cannabis infused olive oil.
Yes,
so, all right. So Farm to Table Cannabis, we got the call boards lit up already. Let's take our first call, and then we'll bang right into that interview. All right, Rude?
Yeah.
All right. We got Daniel. Where are you calling in from, Daniel?
I'm in Kentucky.
What up, man? Thanks for calling in, man. So, like we like to do, we like to answer cannabis cooking events and gardening questions and whatever you got for us, man. So, cooking question and gardening question.
It's actually a cooking question.
All right, I got your back like a car seat, man.
All right, you know, it's getting ready to be 4th of July, and I just cut down a plant not too long ago, and I got my trimmings in the freezer. But I want to break them out and do something for the 4th of July, but I need some ideas.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna start right out the rip, and then we'll go around the studio since we got a good panel here. He's got some trim. It's in the freezer. He wants to make up some ideas what to go with. I'm gonna throw it out there and say maybe do an olive oil or a canola oil, and that way you can infuse your barbecue sauce. You can take a classic recipe for a barbecue sauce, and wherever it calls for the oil, you can use your cannabis infused oil. Now, you know, if you're gonna make a butter butter or something? What are some of the things you do over there with at the Cannabis Catered events, Rudy?
Well, when I use a butter, I usually that's when I make my elote pizza.
Ooh.
Right, but usually I go with desserts when I do my butters. I use my oils for cooking, like coconut oil, olive oil. I mean, I make a peanut oil and also soy oil. You know what I mean, for my Asian fusion stuff. So.
There we go, from Rudy the chef right there from Cannabis Catered events.
Make sure you decarb that stuff before you do anything first, okay?
So step one.
Listen up.
220 degrees for about 20 minutes, all right? That's going to get your decarboxylation cracking off. It's going to make that cannabis
definitely want to grind
psychoactive.
it before you do that, you know. Spread it out evenly, thin layer, at the temperature that Hydro Chef said.
And then you
since it's in the freezer, do I need to let it sit out and kind of dry out because it'd be kind of moist,
so
right?
The thing about it, when it's being cold, you know, like when you get into the oil, it's going to heat up real quick anyway. It's not going to help the trikes drop off any faster or anything. And then you know, I know you're calling in because you're looking for that magical butter machine, but we're gonna allow
yeah, most definitely.
We're gonna allow you to call back in later and answer the grand prize question. And you can get a chance to win the magical butter machine. And so for right now, we got some barbecue sauce we recommended. Rudy recommended doing some sweets using a cannabis-infused butter. And then hopefully we're going to get you hooked up with that magical butter machine at the end. Go ahead. I see you, Rudy, got to say something.
Well, you know, you can make some, like I make the elote with it, so you can do something with some corn, you know.
Doesn't have to just be sweet or savory.
Yeah. You know, you can throw whatever you want on some corn. You know, you can do it however you want and throw a little bit of infused butter. I mean, that's
the cool thing about, you know, infusing your cannabis into something that's versatile like an oil or butter, because you can use it in so many different recipes. So that's what we're going to recommend to you, Daniel. You make one half of that into some olive oil and then one half of it into butter. And we got Trevor over here with Cievoo olive oil, great cannabis-infused olive oil. He's got a good recommendation over here, too.
You know, even though I do the oil, I really like the butter idea, because with the butter, what I do is to put some Cajun seasoning in it, and I do my crab boil.
Ooh.
And just have a Cajun
seasoned
crab boil.
Seafood.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
he went Southern, and that's the same theme that we've got. We got our 4th of July Southern recipe. If you stay tuned towards the end, you can win that magical butter machine after you watch this tomato pie recipe.
I
which
got
is
my ears open, too.
A classic Southern dish that we've infused with some cannabis-infused olive oil. So, Daniel, you're welcome to call back at the end. You're going to win a magical butter machine if you do. But in the meanwhile, we're going to hook you up with our product of the week, which is the Azamax. Azamax is a azadactrin neem-based control product that kills bugs by not letting them ever grow up. You can spray this on your plant and makes your plant pretty much immune to the bugs, and you can spray it every other week, and it's safe all the way through, man. Completely pyrosis tested, which means they made sure it's non-carcinogenic and it's EPA registered. So you get a great, safe, organic control product to use on your plants, and you can use that in your grow. You got to have it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I appreciate it.
That's right. Now you call back in about 30 minutes, get your chance in to win that magical butter machine, man. You're locked in right now. We've got your name down here, so you call in with that number. We can get you on.
Most definitely.
Thanks for calling Farm to Table Cannabis. All right, Rudy, Trevor, we back, man. So thank you guys for answering questions. That's cool. That's what we do. We like to give back to the listeners at DFZ Radio Listener Land, and you can call in with your question. You can hit us up on Instagram with your question. We'll be happy to answer those. Now, Cannabis Catered events. How do you bring about a wonderful event that we've seen on your Instagram? What inspired you, man? Where's your background come from?
Well, I used to do casino events. We would do like company parties for eHarmony, Disney, and Capitol Records and stuff. So they would pay like lots of money for fake casino parties, just to give out for their employees, and they would give out prizes and stuff like that. So I figured once the cannabis was going to be legal, I thought to myself, well, why not start doing like weed bars?
If people will do it for one vice, why wouldn't they do it for another?
Exactly. So
that's right.
I figured
call cannabis a vice.
So why not do some cannabis catered events, right? You know what I mean? That's why my name is Cannabis Catered Events.
And I dig it. And while I have a hard time with it because I'm high, I think the name is extremely fitting for what you do. Now you set up experiences. Now, these aren't just, cannabis-infused food. You're doing an experience. Now, I saw one that you just set up, and you were working with Rye Pritchard over there. Now, was that a event that came together, or that was like natural, or was it like something you had to plan for over months and months? Like, how'd that come together, man?
Well, by no means am I going to take credit for the work that Rye Pritchard and Crystal with Arcane Revelry put in, but I was in the backgrounds doing my work for them and doing what I could to make that event happen. And anyway, I contributed some ways. I'm just not gonna name those things.
But, for sure.
I like to just do my work, and I don't really put my name out there as far as what I do, but I do a lot of things.
Let that cannabis cuisine speak for itself.
The cuisine, and actually I'm venturing more into brokering the events, hiring chefs like you, Devin. I've seen you in person work, and we've been talking in the,
Yeah, if you guys don't know, he just competed in a event last week with Culinary Cannabis with our good friend over Tamara, and he was an admirable opponent. I feel bad for anyone that has to cook against this guy. And, we got to learn a lot about each other and their style in those few little minutes when you're in there cooking against each other and cooking with each other. So shout out to Tamara and Culinary Cannabis, because that's going to be a fun event. And there's also something coming up this weekend you're going to be a part of.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to see you there again, and I'm going to bring my A game this time. I was very unprepared for the first one,
Cooking in front of a camera is no joke, Trevor. Just going to tell you over here, man.
It was nerve-wracking. I'm a little nervous right now, but not as much as when we were shooting the other day, Devin. And I got to say, this is probably cliche, but it's hats off to Hydro Chef. Man, he was really, really fucking a veteran.
I'm comfortable in front of the camera. What can I say? I do it for the people. I cook things, I smoke things, and I grow things for your viewing entertainment, man.
Such a fucking vet. You know what I mean? Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
We
but
get
you know what I mean?
We get to cuss on here. Yeah,
he was a damn vet out
radio.
there. Like, I was really fucking. I gave him a 15.
Oh yeah, he was judging food out there too. He's a judge. He also competes. Now, your cuisine, man. I see you added some of your cuisine to your flair that you're cooking. Now, what would you say your influence on your food comes from?
Well, I'm Filipino, so my background first comes from cooking Filipino food. It actually, my mom and my aunts and my grandmas were the ones that cooked in our family, and since I'm the only one who grew up in the Philippines, I was kind of taught that, the background of that. So then I kind of saw that.
So in the Filipino household, the women cook traditionally?
Traditionally, but I'm in a town where you call it Pampanga and Angeles City. Actually, Anthony Bourdain and Andrew Zimmerman, they go to my town because it's known for the chefs.
Ah.
You know what I mean? So they've ate there.
So you come from a town in the Philippines that's well known for its chefs.
Men are the chefs.
Nice.
Right? So the men are the ones who cook. So like I would go there, right? And we have maids in the Philippines and we have cooks and stuff like that. So then when I go over there though to Pampanga, my uncles and my cousins would say, "Oh, you got to come help us cook," and then I would food prep and just
put your ass to work.
Yeah, they would make you do it. And I hated it at that time, but that's where the foundation came from.
When you're young in the kitchen, it's a bitch, and you hate working. But when you're older, you love being in the kitchen. Give me the kitchen over anywhere most of the time, except the garden. I'd be in the garden over the kitchen.
Being in the kitchen for me is a stress reliever, the only exception was last week again, in the Canna Showdown. Oh my God, it was very, very stressful.
They're in trouble. They're in trouble this weekend on the 7th, and you can check it out at culinaryandcannabis.com, and you can get into the event, which is the Canna Spa event. You can get your cannabis infused facial. I know that sounds weird, but it's just just what you think it is, not in the other way. And we've also got some cannabis infused massages that are going to be going down there, and they've also got a cannabis showdown. And Chef Matt from Chef Matt Cooks will be there with some CB Daily Eats. He'll be cooking up some food on his cooking demo. So, you can check that out at the
I'm really excited.
Canna Spa from Culinary and Cannabis. So when it comes to the cooking with cannabis thing, at what point did you take it from, your growing up cuisine to infusing your cuisine with cannabis?
So, I have a background working at a Thai restaurant and where I worked my way up from a dishwasher to a cook. And then, I've worked in a Filipino restaurant after that and some other places, And really, as I was doing events, the cooking wasn't even really the my main thing. It was like the third, fourth thing that I was really offering. It was more about the weed parties, the weed bars, and the setups like that, the bong bars and whatnot, and the live blunt rollers and that stuff.
It's
but
the culture.
Yeah, really, you know. And then I was gonna offer like edibles and some catering, but I didn't think that was gonna be the most important thing. But obviously, if you look what I've been doing, that's really where it hit, you know, is with the food. So
I think you made a great job, like, you know, branding yourself and marketing yourself as a cannabis chef. Like, that's first thing right now. I mean, talking to you as the executive chef of Cannabis Catered events, like, that's a big title, you know, and what comes along with that is all the profession and all the professionalism that you bring to the table and to the kitchen when you come in. So, I mean, I salute you for that, first of all. And then,
well, thank you.
Well, I mean, and you've been doing this for a minute too. This isn't just something that you that you fell into. You come from a background in cooking. Now, are you classically trained, or is it just kind of in the kitchen?
I have no school training.
Wow,
but,
that's hard to believe, because I mean, you really just blow me away with some of the techniques. I don't know where you picked that up. So that's just from time in the kitchen, or what?
I really just think of myself more as a messy, ugly chef, you know what I mean? Really, to tell you the truth.
The Matty Matterson of cannabis over here.
I wouldn't even call myself a chef a few months ago. So, but I really do enjoy cooking. I do it every day for my family, you know what I mean? They're the first people that I cook for, you know. So and then it's for everyone else. And after that, it just took off when I started infusing food, because that's what everyone was looking for at events. Good quality food with cannabis in it.
All
right.
You
know what I mean? So that's why I kind of got away more from doing the weed events to just really doing more catering. You know, we do cannabis pairings now, infused cuisine, sit down, pop up tastings, buffet trays with servers, dessert tables, pretty much anything with.
And competition now too. He has to wear
Dibbling
that.
and dabbling, you know what I mean? It's gonna be
that.
my second one. Let's see how I do. But I've been preparing for this one, so I'm gonna, and I can actually bring my own ingredients and cook what I want to cook. So it's
as far as the the cooking with cannabis catered events, what upcoming events do you have other than the Canna Showdown?
Well, right now, me and Mark with Cannabis Supper Club are working on tour of Italy at Cafe Colada.
Ooh, that's a nice place out there in Rancho.
That is in Rancho Cucamonga. The ticket links are in my bio on Instagram.
Do cannabis and Italian cuisine fucking go so good together? The artisanal flavors, and I mean, that kind of leads us right into our next guest, which is the Cievoo olive oil too. That's like, dude,
I love it.
That's how that happens. Now, what kind of infusions for your menu are you planning over there?
Well, actually, Chef Travis over there, who's the owner, by the way, he has some things in mind, and me and Mark are supposed to make it out. I think we're going to go out there on Thursday and put together the menu. And then really, we're not actually going to infuse the food itself. We're going to make some sauces on the side and have oils on the side, you know what I mean? So they can infuse it themselves. The people, it's really
optional infusion.
Yeah, it's a cannabis pairing, and you can choose if you want to for $15 more. You can get it infused, and we'll have your infused pairing right next to your meal, so you can put as much as you want. So we're gonna let you know how many milligrams that would be, so that you can apply how much you're comfortable with putting. Because a lot of people, we found out that when you infuse all the food and you feed 20 people, those 20 people are not going to have the same effect. You know what I mean?
There's always a little bit different variables.
There's always a lot of difference. And people are really weary and scared, to tell you the truth. So that's why the cannabis pairings work better, because obviously if you smoke some weed, the food's going to taste great. You know what I mean? So we have 7 different strains that we pair with the 7 different courses that we serve. So right now we're only going to do 5 courses. We're doing something more for the everyday person. It's still going to be high class. We're going to have 5 courses there. We're going to have the whole setup. We're going to have a live band, Coleslaw Music. They're a great freaking band, by the way, and they do like hip hop, but in as a band. They got the drummer, they got the guitar, and bass.
I dig that. Live hip hop always
they
sounds
throw
better.
a little blues and soul to it too. It's
like
really
the
cool.
Roots kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. They're really cool, man. It's gonna be a really nice ambiance and vibe, and we have some vendors. We're looking for sponsors, and Cievoo oil is right next to me. I don't know.
Shameless plug. So
somebody just said something about how Italian food and
cooking with cannabis goes really good together.
And I'm looking at a cannabis-infused extra virgin olive oil from Cievoo right now. It's a hybrid that he said it's 70-30. And
which we're about to talk to when we come right back. We've got some calls, 562-653-0707. You can win a magical butter machine. You can make your own olive oils and butters at home. DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis. We're going to be right back with an interview with Cievoo Olive Oil. Trey, stay tuned.
All the drip on me and G Bentley, man. Ain't know what the fuck going on, man. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. All the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. All the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip.
Throw the bitch a whole nother bean. Got a moon walking like she Billie Jean. She say she on 3, that's a triple team. Say she on 3, that's a triple team. And I'ma fuck around and hit 3 niggas. Goddamn shawty, that's triple beam. 40 hanging out a nigga denim jean. 40 hanging out a nigga denim jean. And I'm kicking shit, no bully. Walked in the bed like screw me. But I pat down my foolie. I used to be bro, didn't know me. Strip with me, I ain't talking boom game. Me and everybody hit the motherfucking floor. Got a rollie on my wrist, couple hundreds on my feet. I'm a shilly bitch, you already know. Late night in the church with the killer gorillas and thug niggas in the motherfucking creature. And I'ma throw the D real far, little nigga, and you know that your bitch the receiver. Nigga ain't gon' win on the beetle. Make the whole stand still black beetle. Bitch, you fly them motherfucking eagle. Bitch, you fly them motherfucking eagle.
Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. I got all the dab on me. All the drip on me. I got all the dab, all the dab. All the drip, all the drip. I got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Get your man down, since sunshine. I run the south, I'm a son of the sun down. We can put them friends up, put them guns down. Or we can put them guns on which way you want now. Get it with the bird, button down. Blue fade rollers and them diamonds on bust down. Had it bad, you better hush now. And bitch, I been dabbing, bitch, I been having. Rolling all gas, that much now. I ran on the rad, that's a touchdown. I move full, good as shit go. So the dick so long, she caught the hit go. And one thing God for New Year. Hey, I pour that act in the motherfucker. This New Year on the coupe. I look up and I ain't her roof. And I kiss shit, no fever. My pockets swell up like the measles. I pull up and pop at your people. Patrolling the spot with the heater. Don't say no name, I got amnesia. I lick it and leave on the teaser. No second, no, I can't repeat it. I told her Michael Jackson beat it. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip. Got all the dab on me. Got all the drip on me. I got all the dab on me. All the drip on me. I got all the dab, all the dab. All the drip, all the drip. I got all the dab, all the dab. Got all the drip, all the drip.
DFZRadio.com.
Have you ever been interested in gardening with dry fertilizers? Well, you're not the only one, and let me tell you about Vermicrop Organics and their line of organic dry fertilizers. Healthy plants with a simple 4-step process. Step 1. Just measure out a half teaspoon per gallon of soil or 2 cups per 12 square feet of soil surface area. Step 2. Apply evenly to the soil surface. Step 3. Blend into the top layer of soil to avoid caking. Step 4. Water thoroughly. And that's it, simple as that. Great for vegetables, fruits, flowers, potted plants, trees, shrubs, annuals, and perennials. It's Vermicrop Organics VermiVeg 744. Along with the VermiBloom and PK Boost, you will have a complete line of organic nutrients and a garden that will thank you with a great harvest. Looking for an even simpler way? Then check out the Vermiall 666. This game-changing mix is formulated for all stages of growth and the fast-paced garden of champion vegetable and flower growers. And check out the Vermi Bat Guano Fertilizer and the Vermi Blood Meal Fertilizer for feeding oversized, nitrogen-hungry plants. Learn more at vermicrop.com. That's vermicrop.com.
Yo, it's BKJ on Team King, and you listening to DFZ Radio. What?
Hey guys, this is Alice Moon. I'm sending some major love to the hydroponic chef. He did an epic job at the High Times Cook-Off, so go follow him. I'm high now. Sending some love, 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 love.
DFZRadio.com.
Drink in my cup, someone tell the DJ, crank it on up. Side diesel in my blood, purple drink in my cup, someone tell the DJ, crank it on up. Yeah, crank it up, crank it on up, crank it up. Sour diesel up in my blood, purple drink up in my cup, crank it up, crank it on up. That's D, got me smoking the bass, no stress cheese. Now hold up, now roll up. Check the situation, about to go nuts. With a little bit of perp up in my.
All right, we're back. Farm to Table Cannabis, DFZRadio.com. Hydro Chefs in the building. We got Rudy from Cannabis Catered Events. And we've got Trey from Cievoo Olive Oil. Hey, so what up, Trey? Thank you for coming in, man. I heard you had a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all worth it, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Dude, if you can see him on camera, you didn't have to get this suited up for us, dude. Like, I feel like we all, dude, what the fuck, Rudy? You're making me look bad in front of the fucking olive oil guy.
That's your fault.
He hit a hot dabs on sale here at DFZRadio.com. So olive oil, man. Yes. It's been done before.
Yes.
But I see your packaging is different. I see you've got a little bit of your own thing going on here. So why don't you tell people about yourself and what makes CVOO?
Well, basically what we try to do is make it a convenient, easy, and accepted way to medicate. Anyone, there's a lot of, if you look around, there's a lot of stigma with smoke, and not everybody knows how to use a lighter. When I'm looking at the people that I was looking to help with the product, and everybody has to eat. Everyone has to, they can drizzle some oil, they can cook with it. But
olive oil is versatile. It's a
very versatile,
very easy way to get
very accepted too. When I'm talking to someone about cannabis olive oil, they hear olive oil before the cannabis or the CBD, which really helps out a lot.
And not to mention, olive oil can be used as a tincture and shit too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Everyone doesn't know. Rudy just cracked his beer over here. He's getting on. Did you just pour olive oil in his beer? No, I'm just
But back to what you're saying about the Italian food, we also have a drizzle. And the drizzle comes with the Thai chili.
I had a drizzle too. I had to go to the doctor about that shit. I was asking him. I was like, man, I wake up and nah.
Thai chili and garlic, and one with just a plain garlic drizzle. So you just put it right over your pasta.
So you can just infuse very last second, just drizzle it over your meal.
Yes, sir.
I like that. And the chili. Now, are you a grower, or are you growing your own ingredients, or?
Yes and no.
Sourcing your own ingredients is totally acceptable.
Yeah, I'm sourcing it through. So the way I got into the business was back. I didn't come into it, looking to get into the cannabis business at all. I helped a friend with a couple of his cultivation spots and learned that way and about the environment, things like this, and started medicating again. I have a bad back problem, and then I stopped the Vicodins and stuff and went straight to the cannabis and said, "Whoa, this is really, a solution." Yeah, absolutely. And I knew a lot of people could use it, and just wanted to find the best way to make it versatile and anyone could.
So do you come from a background in cooking?
Yes and no. I always loved to cook. My mom raised me and my brother.
But not classically trained?
Not classically trained. I worked for a large catering company for many years called Bruce's, and we worked on a bunch of TV shows, and we did catering, a bunch of stuff. But that's as close as I got to actually being trained. Yeah.
So that's funny because, like you said, not a gardener necessarily, not a food guy, but you worked in the cannabis industry with the dispensaries or with the garden, and you said, and it brought you into this.
Yeah,
so it's funny how, there's no coincidences in this stuff.
No.
I grew up cooking and led me to, being a chef, and then I left the chef industry to go be in the cannabis industry, which brought me back to being in the fucking food industry. So whatever, dude. Everything comes full circle.
Yeah,
so
man.
it seems like you found your, your way to do it.
I'm happy, man. The best part about this too, it's really not about the oil. It's about who I get to meet, because everybody has to use oil. So like the cannabis cannabis chef, I could,
you
I
can
be
team up with a lot of people. There's
absolutely.
a lot of co-op advertising opportunities there, for sure. Right there, you see that? We're making magic happen right here at the DFZ Radio
And let me
Studios.
tell you, and what makes us very different is, yes, I do, because of how I got in, I do have a lot of relationships. So we're very, very keen on the product we use. So it's always going to be consistent. And it's always going to be top shelf, really good product. And that's what's really important to me.
So you're using the same type of cannabis for every single bottle? Or
every single bottle for our hybrids, and that's how.
So you can get a consistent product every time. Now that's really big, because a lot of people they can only use what's available. We slide one of those olive oil bottles over to me so I can hold it in front of the camera, Rudy. Thank you, Rudy. So, you got the hybrid label on there. You got your labeling. If I didn't know any better, I would think that you're a licensed company. Or are you medical and getting licensed?
Yes, we are getting licensed. And actually, for the olive oil, we don't have to have a manufacturing. But because,
for any of you listening out there.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that. No, but
and 1,000 oils hit the street.
But at the end of the day, it's really about having the resources to produce it, to make it correct.
Yeah, that's the first thing you got to do it correct. So, what's the milligrams per milliliter?
It's 1 for 1 basically, because we have to, by law, you only could go 100 milliliters per bottle. So you kind of have to do it that way. Right. You can't go stronger, you can't go less. So it's basically,
which is what you really want anyway.
Absolutely.
Tell me about your olive oil. Is it an olive oil that you're sourcing from Europe, from America?
Actually,
is it?
Actually, it's the only olive oil that is USDA. And is actually, because there was a big stink about olive oil. So what we want to do back to it was use the best olive oil. So the olive oil we do use is
higher quality olive oil is going to give you a higher quality product.
Absolutely.
It goes in, goes out. And we know we don't want to just use an olive oil that just goes and picks up. Nothing against Costco or Sam's Club, but if you're just going and buying olive oil in bulk, and you need to source your ingredients. You need to know about the farm. You need to be able to have a backstory. Not because of any other reason than it's going to make your product a lot easier to digest and taste and understand about, because if you don't got a backstory behind your olives, you need to go back to marketing.
Absolutely. And not sick, by the way, because a lot of the other labels are misleading, and they don't have the things that they say that they present that they do. You have to really read between the lines.
Now, the thing about this, you've got your nutrition facts on here. You've got your cannabis label on here. You've got everything that you need, except for a recipe.
That's where you guys come in.
That's right.
That's where you guys come in.
So, what kind of tips can you give someone trying to start their own company, not olive oil, in the industry to overcome some of these hurdles?
Honestly, it's really about just going in and doing it, because you're really not going to find out what you need to know unless you really get your feet wet. Because there's always going to be things that come up, whether it's cannabis or not. And first and foremost, really love what the fuck you're doing, because you don't have to put that time in to start the business. It's just not going to happen.
Just care a little bit more than other people.
Absolutely.
You'd be surprised how far that goes.
And it definitely shows, and it's definitely going to show in your product. Anytime you use Cievoo, you're going to know what it is, because you're going to taste the quality opposed to anyone else's.
All right, so we're going to hit you with some rapid fire questions. What's up with the recipe? You got a cool go-to recipe?
Go-to, yeah.
Olive oils for vinaigrettes or marinade?
Oh,
what do you go
to? I use it for everything. So if I'm baking chicken, I'm going to use that for marinade. If I'm doing Korean barbecue, that's in my oil. I substitute all my oils for my oil. Anything I have to do with oil, I can use that. So no matter what the recipe, if you're scrambling eggs, you could use that. I use my oil.
And where can they find this right now?
Right now, online, and we're waiting for our testing back, and we're going to be going to stores next week.
That's a trick question. It's after July 1st. I forgot.
Yep.
We got to get that. All right. So we're going to take a commercial break. Farm to Table Cannabis. You can call in, win a magical butter machine available through Sunlight Supply. And if you're around towards the end of the show, we're going to have a grand prize question. You can win that magical butter machine. 562-653-0707.
I got one, by the way.
If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. Got a cold cut, Steve Harvey. I catch the buds with my glove, Steve Garvey. Quick to roll in the club, 'cause we party. They asking where the bomb at, 'cause everybody in the club smell that. It's Breeze, get loaded TV. Smoke about a pound every day of the week. Roll so fast you didn't see him coming your way. Turned around and there was a blunt up in your face. You must have thought that I was finished. The Breeze is never stingy with the spinach. Rolling up some trees. You can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. If I'm rolling up some trees, you can smoke with me. I like the blunt. I like the blunt. I love the stickiest weed, 'cause I'm a Cali, baby.
DFCRadio.com.
Hi, and welcome to Non-Specific Hydro.
Yeah, hey, I have a buddy of mine that was telling me about a great additive.
Okay, do you remember the name?
Yeah, his name's Steve. He's a good buddy.
No, the product.
No, he told me it was a super concentrated organic enhancer. Comes in a yellow bottle.
Well, it sounds like he's talking about Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics.
I don't think that was the name, but he also told me it was a vegan bioplant stimulator that contained vitamins, plant sugars, amino acids, seaweed extract.
Yeah, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
I don't think that's it, man. He told me it was something like Dora Vicious Flush or something, and he said it was like an organic supplement that could also be used in vegging or flowering, and it was compatible with hydro soil and cocoa.
Yes, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
Oh, hey, man, I just remembered what it's called. It's Floralicious Plus.
Oh, good. I was drawing a blank.
Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics. Ask for it by name.
DFCRadio.com.
What up, people? It's your girl Justina Valentine, and I'm rocking out with the Saint 562. Let's go. Word.
Thinking of why I feel this way.
We're back, DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis. We're in the studio with Rudy, Cannabis Catered Events. We've also got Trey from Cievoo Olive Oil, well-established cannabis-infused olive oil company. And if you want to win your very own magical butter machine, you guys just call in now, 562-653-0707. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to get you hooked up. And also, if you don't win tonight, don't be let down, because you can win or you can get a discount just for going to the Magical Butter. And when you're checking out, use the Hydro Chef coupon. And then when you're checking out, you get a discount and get hooked up. So go on there now, check it out, look at your discount, and yeah, you're welcome.
Listen up.
Okay, let's go to the phone line, see who we got here. Miss Barbara, thanks for calling in. Farm to Table Cannabis. You're on the line with Rudy and Trey.
What's cracking?
Hi, Barbara.
Oh, you on the phone? What's up, Miss Barb? Oh, she got me on hold. Ain't that about a shit? Oh, you know what? That's cool. We're just gonna wait it out then. We're all gonna hang out.
She had some.
Is it like it's like that, Barbara? Wow,
Somebody
Barb.
put them on hold.
No, you ain't. You're hanging out with the Hydro Chef live on the air. You ain't on hold.
Hey.
Hold on, you talking to me?
The whole time. What's up, Barb?
Who's Barb?
I don't know. Someone said your name's Barbara. Either that or you calling from Santa Barbara.
No, Hydro Chef. This is Groella.
Oh, shit. Kentucky or shit?
Yeah.
Oh, we got caller from Kentucky left and right. We're doing good in the bluegrass state. You know that we're doing all right out there. You're trying.
That's because I done told all these people about y'all.
That's right.
That's what's up. So you got gardening question or cooking question?
Cooking, dude. I'm just wasting the hell out of all of my trimmings.
Oh, what? You're having no success? Talk to me.
No, man. Like, I don't know if I'm just, like, using too much butter or not enough cannabis or vice versa. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but, like, the last 2 harvests I've just went to shit with.
Man.
On that end of it.
All right. So you're having gardening issues first of all.
No gardening issues ever. I just can't seem to make butter.
Nice.
Go back to what you said. Sorry, we couldn't hear you.
I said I'm not having any gardening issues. I just can't make the butter for some reason.
Now you're
not turning out good.
So you're decarboxylating the cannabis at 220 degrees, and you're breaking it down, and you're putting it like in a ramekin or preferably the decarb box from Magical Butter.
No, I don't have one, and I don't have a double boiler. I've been using my stupid ass crock pot.
Well,
which is okay.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but you should first get your oven going to 220 degrees, break the cannabis down, put it inside the ramekin or oven safe container, like a Magical Butter box. That way you can heat it up and decarboxylate it properly. If you do it just in a crock pot or just in a double broiler, you're not really going to have a lot of control of what temperature at. Where the oven, you can set a temperature and really take control.
It's more so like my hard candy wasn't so bad, but my chocolates taste like shit, man. They taste like I'm eating a plant.
Oh.
I got a question.
Like, it's bad.
Okay. Are you adding a bonding agent when you are you making a butter? Are you making an oil? What are you making?
Some lectin or something?
Just making butter. I'm melting down the butter sticks and I'm wrapping up the trimmings and letting hours go.
Are you using a bonding agent like a granule lecithin?
Mm-mm.
You got to get one from GNC, okay?
Okay.
And you got to look at the amount of cannabis that you use in the butter, and there's you're probably going to use like a tablespoon or 2. And you got to use that so that it combines together and it bonds together. Because if not, it's going to be soggy and it's going to be watery. And
it also has an effect, like synergistic effects too.
It does. It affects the overall, the high, and how it affects you as well. And it's almost like just throwing the dice out there, not knowing what you're doing. When you're working with edibles, you want to know what you're doing because people can get sick from this, and you got to really at least. But for the most part, have your math together and do the right processes. And
now you're in Kentucky and you're taking a chance even calling us, and we understand how that is. But if you can't get to a testing facility, knowing what you're growing right out the rip and having like an average, test percentage to go off of for your THC levels, that'll help you be able to do the math a lot easier.
Farm to table.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of other opportunities out there for you to, get more precise on your dosing amount because we're all about, dosing correctly. But in addition to that, it just comes down to technique. So if you're not heating it properly or you're not like taking the time to decarboxylate, the end result might come out wrong. Also, if you're decarboxylating too long and then you're leaving it in your butter too long and you're getting too much of that plant material taste, then that can also be. So it's trying to find that happy medium. I'm going to say with your butter, after you've put the cannabis in there, you don't have to go much longer than 30 minutes to 45 minutes. If you're leaving it in for an hour overnight, you're letting it go in too long, and that's going to get that plant material.
Oh, well, no wonder. I need to quit listening to people.
And then, the other great techniques out there are rosin presses. If you can get yourself a hold of the rosin press, those are available everywhere right now. Shout out to the Terminator, shout out to the
Papa and Barkley.
rosin industries. All those guys got a lot of options when it comes to rosin. You can smash your rosin, you can mix that with the butter, and you're not going to have as much of that plant material taste
at all.
Right.
So we're going to hook you up because you called at the end of the show. You're going to get the Magical Butter machine, courtesy of the good folks over there at Magical Butter. So shout out to Magical Butter, guys.
Nice.
Thanks a lot for
That's
hooking up
a
the
wonderful
guests.
gift.
And, you've been an honorable and loyal
No more crock pot.
Caller. You've called in now several times now, so I can't think of people that deserve it much more. So thank you so much for calling in, Groella. And,
y'all are awesome, and I swear I don't call in for anything. I listen to y'all just to listen to y'all.
well, we appreciate the good questions. You give us an opportunity to talk about the cannabis and cooking. So who's hooking you up every Tuesday night with the best edible
it's
reviews
the
and the
Hydro Chef.
magic butter machine?
It's the Hydro Chef, dude.
Atta girl. Much love. Yes. All right.
Yeah.
And Chris
Thank
from
you.
Magical Butter says we love Kentucky.
Chris, shout out.
What's
Chris
up,
Widener.
dude?
All right. So we're going to go to the cooking demo part of the show. We'll come back and do our sign-offs. We'll talk some more to Trey. We'll talk some more to Rudy. And we've got a wonderful cannabis-infused southern tomato pie. So sit back, watch the cooking demo, and we'll be back. Farm to Table Cannabis,
I wrote that
DFZradio.com.
down. The tomato pie.
Cause I always got that 425. Man, I got so high I couldn't even drive. Look at what I did by 25, nigga. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Cause I always got that 425. You know I got it. I always got that 425. You know I got it, nigga. You know I keep that 425. Blaze one with me then. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Hey, Dizzy OG all up in my paper. Hey, but is he right about to run for mayor? Whoa. Started my label, now they think I'm giving out favors. Too bad, a couple niggas that I used to fuck with turned into haters. Don't be hitting my line, cause I ain't got the time. I told you once, nigga don't front online. I know what the fuck you want. Seeing through these fools, mad cause I make their girlfriend booty move. With my G ways, I'm just too damn cool. Nigga, what life do to you? Hey, looking mad at me. I be smoking, I be mad happy. I don't really worry about these niggas that be making comments, throwing jabs at me. Dab hat, feeling dab happy with the 425. Hey, I love Vegas for the 24/7 side. You can see that I always got that 425. Man, I got so high I couldn't even drive. Look at what I did by 25, nigga. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Cause I always got that 425. You know I got it. I always got that 425. You know I got it, nigga. You know I keep that 425. Blaze one with me then. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Hey.
Word around town is every down the road. They ain't never lied. All my bitches fly. April 25. Yeah, that's right. Bitch, I feel like Pac. Circa 95. Screaming death to all my haters. We can't let it slide. Bitch, I'm about to ride. Suicide. It's a suicide. Fucking with the squad. Never televised. Pray to stay alive. Play your lane or test your luck against the crew. Bitch, you decide. Foolish pride. Got these bitches out of pocket. I'm just cheaping with the tribe. Let's get high. Bitch, I'm flowing back to back to back. Kobe Shack. I'm too fucking high to see a hoe react. I'm too fucking faded to see you salty. I made it. They hated from the beginning. My pedals still hit the pavement. Oh, looking mad at me. I be smoking, I be mad happy. Yeah, they used to laugh at me. Now promoters don't cash at me. Money long, now we the strong. Now bitch, I be living that high life. Blowing that kush be the highlight. Pass me a light, now the vibes right.
Always got that 425. Man, I got a vibe. Man, I got so high I couldn't even drive. Look at what I did by 25, nigga. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Cause I always got that 425. You know I got it. I always got that 425. You know I got it, nigga. You know I keep that 425. Blaze one with me then. Dizzy OG think I we alive. Hey.
DFZradio.com.
Welcome back, Farm to Table Cannabis Kitchen Studio. This week we're going to use some of our abundance of garden fresh tomatoes and herbs to make a tomato pie. Now this southern inspired dish infuses some CB Daily East cannabis infused olive oil along with some cheeses and some fresh tomatoes and herbs from the garden. We're going to take a pie crust and cook that up for a cannabis infused southern treat. So let's get started on our prep for this tomato pie. We're going to get some of these garden fresh tomatoes. I'm going to take the tops off and we're going to slice these into half rounds. These rounds will look nice when we display them in our pie, and it covers a lot of the surface area of our baking dish. So let's get these going, and we'll speed this up. We'll finish this up real quick, and We'll bang out all these tomatoes, and then we'll chop up some basil from our garden, which is going to go great with our burrata. We've got our tomatoes finished. They're lined on the baking sheet with the paper towels. We're drawing out some of that moisture. Let's cut up some of these onions, which is going to be some of the base to the flavor of this dish. Now, all of these vegetables were grown using some of our Mother Earth brand cocoa peat. And the cocoa peat is a peat moss and cocoa blend, which is naturally disease and pest free. It also is pre-charged with some bat guano, earthworm castings, pumice, and all sorts of other organic meal inputs. So this is a great product you can use for your garden and fast growing annuals all year round. Soil's great, it's got a lot of microbes and beneficials in there, so it's a great product to use. And you can get some just for listening and commenting on this week's recipe section, the Southern Inspired Tomato Pie, DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis. Let's finish cutting up some of these onions, and we're gonna caramelize these onions with a little bit of the CB Daily Eats Cannabis Infused Olive Oil. We've got our saute pan on the stove, it's up to heat. We've got some CB Daily Eats. We're gonna take about 2 tablespoons of this wonderful cannabis-infused CBD-rich olive oil, and we're gonna throw our onions right in there to start caramelizing them. Got this on the stove top. It's gonna cook for about 12 minutes until it's nice and caramelized. That gives us enough time to get our pie dough ready for this wonderful southern pie. So let's clean up this space, and then we're gonna get this pre-made store-bought pie crust right here onto our table. So we've got a rolling pin, we've got some pie crust. It's not hard to pick up an easy made store-bought pie crust. Then again, it's not hard to make your own, but for the sake of cannabis cooking and using what's available, this will be easy.
Gonna roll this out, fit this onto our 9-inch baking pan. We're gonna roll this around the rolling pin, and it'll be easier to place over the top of our 9-inch baking pan. This will go right over the top. We'll make sure it fits nicely, and then we'll use a knife to cut off the excess.
So we're just gonna clean up the edges of our pie. We don't want any extra dough. And then we're gonna dock the outside edges of the pie. This is a real simple, easy technique. You can just mark the dough, don't cut through. And then we're gonna finish up this pie, get it started in the oven, make the filling, and now we're gonna check on our caramelized onions. Our onions have got a nice little color going on there. You can smell that sweet flavor from the onions. Now let's get our pie crust finished. We've got a piece of aluminum foil. We're gonna lay that in the bottom of our store-bought pie crust. And you can use any type of pie weight you want. I'm using pasta. It's already dry. You could use beans. We're gonna put this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. And in the meantime, we're gonna get started on our pie crust with the tomatoes, the mozzarella. We've got some mayonnaise, 2 types of cheese with some CB Daily Eats and some basil. Let's pull all these flavors together for a southern cannabis-infused treat. So the onions are finished. We're gonna get those into our mixing bowl. After they've all evaporated and we've got that sweetness flavor, it's about a half a cup. So we've got our half a cup of onions. Then we're gonna take a half a cup of regular mayonnaise. You can use your favorite mayonnaise. Southern mayonnaise works the best. Then we're gonna take a tablespoon of red pepper flakes. Got some of this green basil, and this is gonna be inside the pie so it doesn't have to look as pretty. And then we'll garnish it with some of this perfectly structured leaves of basil. So let's get our basil in there, and then we're gonna top it off with our cheese. And burrata is my favorite cheese to add to this dish. Burrata is basically, it's a outside coat of cheese, and then the inside, it's curds and cream. So the freshest cheese you can get is the burrata. It's a mozzarella, and then you mix that in there. We're gonna take a half a cup of the Parmigiano, then we're gonna take a half a cup of the cheddar. We're gonna mix that all together with the burrata, the caramelized onions, and that basil mixture, and this is gonna be the base to our pie. You can't go wrong with this. Lots of cheese, lots of flavor, keeping it real creamy. All right, we're gonna get the last of the basil in there from the garden. We're gonna mix that up, and then we're gonna spread about 1 cup of this mixture on the bottom of that pie pan. Now that's gonna be the base, and we're gonna put the tomatoes right on top of this. So let's spread that out nice and evenly. And then let's get some beautiful and soil-grown tomatoes right over the top of that. So we've got a layer of the tomatoes down. Now we're gonna take the other remaining cheese mixture. We're gonna place that over the second layer of tomatoes, and we're gonna place the final layer of tomatoes over the top of this and top it with some of that beautiful cheeses that we have. So let's finish this up. We'll get it topped with those last tomatoes and get this in the oven. Alright, now the burrata, they take a thin piece of cheese, they dip it in the curds and cream, and then this comes straight from the farm. So you're not going to get a fresher, more creamy cheese than the burrata. So hydroponic chef approved. Once you get your last tomato on there, this is ready to go in the oven. 375 degrees for about 45 minutes. That's gonna help bring all that cheese mixture together, melt everything down, and dehydrate some of those tomatoes. We put some aluminum foil on the outside of the pan that helps prevent crispy crust. This is ready to go. Let's finish it up, bring all these flavors together. Increase the temperature, we're gonna crisp up the top. Let's pull it out. Let's see, got that nice color. We're gonna put some basil just to make it look nice and fresh. It'll bring out that texture to it. You're not gonna cook it much longer. You just wanna get that basil just slightly wilted. It's ready to go after this. We've got that beautiful purple basil, green basil. It's a good add. So we've got the basil on top, we turn the oven up so we can crisp the top. Let's pull out this cannabis-infused southern baked tomato pie. We've got our pie, it's finished. We've got the crust top. We've got the basil on there. It's not too crispy, it's still got some of that freshness. We're gonna take the burrata and we're gonna wipe off the burrata with a little bit of paper towel. And this is a beautiful cheese. This cheese is a skin of mozzarella with curds and cream. We're gonna put a little bit right here on the top just to display, and the rest we're gonna cut up and we're gonna leave this for the topping. We've also got some beautiful balsamic vinegar that's been infused with some basil and some herbs, and then we've also got some of the cannabis infused CBD daily eats, the cannabis infused olive oil. We'll put that right over the top of the balsamic vinegar, right on top of the pie, and this is ready for serving. So let's cut this up. And if you want to win your very own Mother Earth Cocoa Peat, comment on this week's recipe section, the tomato pie, and you can win just for commenting. Hydroponic Chef approved, DFZ Radio, Farm to Table Cannabis.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. We just wanted to give everyone a heads up so they can hear this good information. We got a caller calling in asking about CBD for dogs. So you can get CBD products from a lot of local sources. You'd be surprised. A lot of local tobacco shops, smoke shops, also known as head shops, and other, surprisingly friendly places that you can pick these products up on.
Just make sure it's hemp derived.
Hemp derives is the big thing too, and with it being so readily available now you can find it in like the crystal form. You can mix that up into your dog treats, or you could you could mix that up into a tincture. There's a lot of different methods out there for dog treats and stuff like that. So that would be my recommendation.
I do CBD oil for myself, so I am able to get the CBD oil. I just didn't know if it would mix well into like a cookie or something like that.
Yeah, with you, it's always better to use dog medicine for dogs and human medicine for humans. But if you're in an extreme scenario, or you're in like a really unfriendly state when it comes to cannabis, it's at your best discretion to try to get your dog or your family member at that point to get whatever it needs to alleviate its pain. So if you can, get a hold of some hemp-derived CBD products, make that an edible, you would not be breaking any of your local jurisdictions, and you could also feel good about feeding your dog and getting it better.
Wonderful.
We're glad to hear about your story about having some successes with the dog treats. Now, do you do your own gardening, you said?
Yes.
So we're going to hook you up with a product called Azamax. This product right now can be sprayed on your plant, and it's organic, and we know you're going to use your plant later for medicine, so you want to make sure that you're really safe when you're spraying the product. Always wear a mask and spray it early in veg. And that'll get rid of all your bugs, and it's safe and organic-based off the neem product. So
awesome.
Give that to you.
Thank you.
That's for your own. That's for your own THC cannabis. You're not going to feed that to your dog, just so you know.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Barbara.
I want to say thank you for all your recipes. I love them.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you calling in, DFZ Radio.
Have a great night, guys.
We got another caller. We're going to go to them. Who we got here? Albert. Calling in. What's up, Albert? You missed the magical butter machine by a call or two, but I still
all good.
I still want to thank you
earlier from you.
That's right, and you're still cooking at home. What would you do with two of those if you had two magic butter machines?
Oh man,
a whole lot of something.
I donated to a homie.
So we got Rudy here, and we got Trey here from Cievoo Olive Oil. What you got for us today, man? You got questions? We got answers.
Yes. I always support you and call whenever I can. But my question is, so when you guys do with the oils and the olive oil, is it just more for marinade and not just Filipino style fry with?
Oh man,
he's gonna take that.
What are you trying to cook, my brother?
No, just anything in general. Is it
Albert? Where's your food influence come from when you be cooking?
Oh man, garlic fried rice and spam, bro.
Boom! I just wanted to introduce you to Rudy so he knew what we were dealing with, right? Some of that tocino.
Yeah, well, I'm Filipino myself, bro, and I'm actually born here in America, but I was sent to the Philippines, so I got a taste of both worlds. And I use, when I cook my adobo, I got this coconut oil that I infuse, and I start out with that and some garlic and onions. I like to use red onions for my chicken adobo, and we all have our own special recipes when it comes to adobo. That's like our most known dish. So you can use it that right there and then, man. And you don't have to particularly just use it in your marinade. I mean, you can, which I do too as well. So especially olive oil.
You can use it as a sauté. You can sauté it in there too. Marinades work good. Olive oil cakes work good. Have you guys seen the olive oil cake? So Cievoo olive oil, since it's already got a little sweetness in that olive oil in there, olive oil cake's an easy one to use, and you're going to use the olive oil as opposed to like you would vegetable oil. Comes out ridiculous. Give a little lemon flavor in there. You'd be surprised how versatile something like that could be. And olive oil ice cream. My crappy nut.
Wow.
All kinds of different ways.
You got to try out some adobo fried rice, though, man. I'll give you a recipe, man. Follow me on Instagram, Cannabis Catered Events, and I'll DM you my recipe for that.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. I'll jump on that.
Chef Rudy approved. Very good.
That sounds good.
Cool. Hey, thanks, guys.
All
Always
right.
informative.
Thank you, man. So we're going to go. I think we got one more phone line. And Albert, we're going to hook you up with some of that Azamax, just like we talked about before, that's going to cure all your bug problems. It's safe to use on your combustible plants. It's based off of neem from our good folks over at General Hydroponics. The product's available through Sunlight Supply.
Hydroponics.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Albert.
Chef.
We'll hook you up.
Almost enough.
We got anyone left? Nope, everyone's gone.
All circuits are busy now.
We cleared out the phone lines, man. Thank you to Magical Butter Machine. Thank you to Sunlight Supply. Thank you to General Hydroponics and Botanicare, and a list of all of our great sponsors out there. And so Ty, man, let me ask you this: with the Cievoo olive oil, if you weren't doing this, man, what would you be doing?
Continue what I was doing right before this. I have a nonprofit that provides socks and underwear to the homeless and disadvantaged.
My man.
Socks and underwear, two things that can't be donated, so you got to think that socks and underwear, you know what I'm saying?
Donate all my underwear.
We got so much love for your company because you're healing people. You're helping the homeless, man. We love putting a spotlight on people like
Appreciate
you,
that,
and like
man.
we love
That's
doing
awesome.
this every week. You know,
Appreciate
just
that.
giving you the platform to tell people where they can find your product, which is
Cievoo.com.
And then you know what the next event you're going to be at.
We're doing a dinner at 7 Fusion. It's a wonderful restaurant in Sherman Oaks, high end. They have exotic meats, all natural, all health. The cannabis cater chef here said, we're doing kind of the same thing. We're doing 2.5 milliliters so they can infuse themselves, but also there's an open grill and they have hot pots where they can just put as much they want in, or they can have it with the hibachi cooked in. It's going to be amazing.
My invite.
Delicious.
All you guys are invited.
And that's it. You know, we're on the same level. I dig what you're doing. You know how we found each other, really? We use the same hashtag, Farm to Table Cannabis. And no one fucking uses that shit, really.
They should.
And you know what? That shit's ours now.
For
So
sure. Let's do it.
You know what? Many have come, but few have answered the call. So I appreciate you for coming through and
appreciate you
talking
for having
about
me.
your wonderful product.
Appreciate
and
it.
you know, hey, big things coming. I see a collaboration going down over here between
Absolutely.
Cannabis Catered events and some Cievoo olive oil. So it's coming. And thanks for watching. And Rude, you got anyone you want to say thank you to or give a shout out to?
Yeah, before I go, I just really want to give a shout out to my sponsors for the event I have coming up at Tour of Italy at Cafe Calato. My sponsors, CBD Organic Drinks, Plant Organic Wellness, and Puff Sauce, Infusion Sauce. My flower sponsor, the Dabbing Bear. I always use everything with the Dabbing Bear, the best flowers in the IE. And we got a dab bar concentrate set up with at Backyard Extract. So we're going to have some things going on over there. Maybe Cievoo Oil is going to sponsor our infused
not
dinner.
maybe, we are.
There it is.
It happened. There we go.
Already been
Deals
said.
go down here.
So there you go. Go to that link on my bio and just click it and get some tickets. $60 for cannabis pairing and $75 with infused. So
And don't forget to come watch me and Rudy throw it down at the Canna Spa from Culinary and Cannabis at culinaryancannabis.com.
Canna Chef Showdown.
Yeah, so it's going
When's
down.
that?
That's going to be this weekend,
This
the 7th.
Saturday,
Nice.
7th.
The 7th is going down. The Canna Chef Crown is going to be happening. So, all right, man. So who's hooking you up every week with the best edible reviews, the best gardening advice, and the best guests in the industry? Hydroponic Chef, DFZRadio.com.